Hi everyone, it's Anne-Marie Band. Today is October the 18th, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. I know it's late, had a lot of trouble with Camtasia, and it just got itself right, so I thought I'd hop in with a quick video. All right, so what are we looking at? Let's jump first. Daily, right? Yes. We're caught in a little bit of a choppy space, but remember, as long as we are making higher lows, this is going to break out. Now, yesterday it broke out, but it couldn't hold. And so the goal is, can we break out and hold? Or do we end up with a rising wedge that all of a sudden breaks this trend line? And so that's really what we're going to keep our eyes open on. What's happening with that trend line? If it breaks down through the day, we're going to have ourselves an issue well above the value area. Have a look at this Fibonacci. Let's do it traditionally. Let's take the whole wave instead of the value area. All right, that whole wave puts 1.5 up here. That's a big deal. If we do the wave of the value area, which, where are we here? Is it shifting? I don't know where this Fibonacci is. If we look at the other one, everything's pointing to this 620 to 640 area, and that's really what's going to be watching. So let's go to the hourly. All right, dips or buy zones, value area. Listen, it's shifted up, but the size of it is the same. And so this tells me that we have just as much likelihood of watching this kind of formation. We come into the POC, we break out, we head to the top, and we collapse back down. What does that mean? Well, dips or buy zones. If, I don't like trading to trend lines. I see so many people draw trend lines and, they trade on them and, good on you. It's just not my bag, all right? But what we do want to notice is the slope of motion and the strength of move. We're above, yes, those are fins talking behind me. We want to watch upside pressure. We got a VWAP that's moving upside. We've got a hull that's moving upside, tracking price. And then we've got a longer hull action that is flattening, but also moving up, and we've got positive momentum. What does that mean? Dips or buy zones. All right, where are we headed today? I think value area high, 59.13, maybe even 59.20, because it's a Friday. All right, I'm going to scoot this up here. This is very interesting. This is a 9.618 and a 10 expansion off of the opening candlestick formation. You might go, whoa, Emery, that's big. But here's the thing. All you got to do is, after you're moving over the top of these, just slip back to your time frame and go, wait, is this moving higher? Yesterday, I have to stop and tell you this. Yesterday, I got caught trying to buy a dip too early because I was looking at too tight of time frames when I was on fast markets. And so in a snap, I was down almost $2,000. I spent the whole day trying to carve back my rate, which I did, which is great. But the big thing is, when a savage move begins, before you initiate a trade, zoom out, right? I should have gone to the 4-hour and said, wait a second, what's going on here? I need to see where old resistance became new support, and then I'm going to find myself a good trade. And that really is what happened here. Old resistance, new support, and it bounced right off of that and then came right back into it, which is settlement. The settlement from day before yesterday and yesterday are almost the same, almost exactly the same. All right, let's go to the NQ. Oh, somebody said to me, wait a second, before I go there, Marcia said to me, hey, listen, it'd be nice if you actually looked at something and gave us a number that said, here's where the good buy zones are. Listen, if we're lucky enough to come back into the POC, the point of control, or the VWAP, oh, and listen, she said that in the nicest way. I just sort of cut to the chase when I'm talking sometimes, and no, she said that wonderfully. She's a magnificent human. So, yes, all the way down there, but notice, you also have the opportunity to take a short, we're getting ready to go live, as it falls from the London Open. Now, what I'm going to ask the guys at Transpider to do is take these movements and let them go out 3 days so we can see where these lines are as the days go forward. We got a few things to work out here, but this is going to be a magnificent tool for the trader. And I'm going to love it. We're going to have it in the marketplace for you to get at a very reasonable price. I mean, super cheap. And then we'll just talk about it and make it work for everyone. But here's what's happening. Here we are inside of the 4 a.m. candlestick. I have noticed that getting inside the 4 a.m. candlestick, if we're moving up, we go to the top of the candlestick. If we're moving down, we go to the bottom of the candlestick, which means we're going to be sitting right here at 59.82, which was a pretty nice buy yesterday. I prefer waiting to the midnight candlestick formation down here, or even better, at the bottom of the opening range candlestick. So I like the buys somewhere around the point of control at 58.85 to 58.87, with a stop about 4 points wide, or the first pass bounce off 58.92 to, I don't know, maybe 58.94, right? But this trend line and everything is telling us, yes, we've got upside pressure until it breaks and we go down to the bottom of the channel. My thought is we are going to empty ourselves down into this baseline area where that 4-hour candlestick sits. Oh, I know, I spent so much time doing that. We're going to have 10 views on this video. Ridiculous. All right, so here we are. Value area has moved, but it's still the same size. I know, it seems like we got a lot of lines here. Let me change these colors. I decided I wanted to do something in that shade. It's better. I don't see it as much. All right, when we need it, we look for it, okay? All right, so what are we doing? Above the midnight candlestick formation, above the 4 a.m. candlestick formation. So where are we going? We're heading into yesterday's 4 a.m. candlestick formation, and look at where it stopped. Dead right there. But what is the trend? The trend is up. So the dips are going to be buy zones, okay? The dips are going to be buy zones, and so that's what we're looking for. So you might go, ooh, could I take a short? You could, but it better be a scalp trade. I mean, it really could be, but momentum is clearly not in your favor if you're trying to take a short up here. It's got to be for tiny points, or you choose the MNQ. Do I like a reversal action formation up here at the 20,515 area? Yeah, I do. It's the same area. I thought, all right, this is a good place to short the NQ yesterday. I talked about that yesterday, and on the failure of it, not going into it. So you want to wait for it to come up and fade unless you're trading this 4 a.m. candlestick. And remember, the way this 4 a.m. candlestick action works is if you dip into it, you're likely to go to the bottom of it and the top. Now, this is an exception because it only went down about halfway, but this is what we notice. All right, so that's what we're staring down. Dips are buy zones, value area high. What's the area I like for long action? Way down here at the POC. 20,400. Very tight compression. Look how messy our formations are. Very, very messy formations. So when you've got messy formations like this and candlesticks are tracking one over the other, it's a range trade. Wait for the base to hold and then trade it up, or scalp your way down as you want to. All right? Your choice. Your choice. All right, let's take a look at the YM. And if you go in the opposite direction of trend, folks, use an MNQ. Use the micros, so you aren't looking at a gaping flesh wound in your chest. Okay? All right. YM looks fantastic here. Why? Everything's telling the same story. 1, double top. 2, underneath the hulls and the VWAP. Okay. 3, negative momentum. So ideally, the short is the loss of the 4 a.m. candlestick low or its retest, which is 43,505. Where's the target? It's going to be right here, the old breakout zone at around 43,386. Right? They're coming in early, so here's the problem. When they come in early, they usually break through it because a lot of people go, ooh, I'm buying this, ooh, I'm buying this, ooh, I'm buying this, as we see here. And then what happens? They get slammed because the momentum and trend is negative, right? And so they're holding for a move all the way back up here, but the fact of the matter is they're going to probably get to the point of control or these other areas like the midnight candlestick high, and it's going to rotate right over and then flash through this particular area downward. Okay, where's the target? Yesterday's midnight low, which is the VWAP. Okay, but bounces or sell zones. I like what's going on there. All right, let's take a look at SPY. SPY, doing the same thing. Value area moved up higher and it got wider. This tells me there's a lot of noise here. Take a look. Upward hull, and then a tight upward hull and a downward bigger hull. So what is that? It's a cross current. If we look at a cross current and the momentum is sitting in the middle, wait for the bottom of the range. Wait for the bottom of the range. And at the bottom of the range, 581, the fill of the gap, look at the value area just shifted. The bottom of the 8 a.m. candlestick formation, that's the first pass bounce. Okay? That's what I would say to looking at SPY. And I'd love it to come into the VWAP or yesterday's closing VWAP, which is about 581. Right? These 8 a.m. candlestick formations are just incredible to watch because they give us such solid breakaway formations in both directions. We just have to pay attention to the overall trend to see where the resistance ends up sitting. Okay? Take a look at the cues. All right. Oh, golly, what a mess. 8 a.m. We're inside the 8 a.m. candlestick, right? Sideways. Where's it coming into? VWAP. What's the formation? A flat, longer range hull. Upward, tighter hull, flat VWAP. What does that tell you? Coin toss if you're messing around in here. But if you're waiting for the sweet spot at 490 or 495, you've got yourself a nice trade in the opposite direction. Until it isn't. But it's going to be such a cheap short, meaning very small risk, or such a cheap long, very small risk, that it's going to be worthwhile. Sit on your hands today and let price come to you. Don't rush it. All right? Take care, everybody. I'm so sorry about it being late, but I appreciate you watching. All the best.